What's up, guys? Back again. Technically, episode 3. The lost archives of episode 1. We're still, they're thinking about setting like the submarine where they found like the Titanic, but we're trying to reach out to Ocean Gate. They're hesitant to work with us because we're public. But yeah, so this is pretty much episode 3. We're gonna talk about, let's go through the week 1 matchups. I can start it off, just going through our game. I think it was a competitive game. Joe Burrow absolutely shit the bed.
Yeah.
It was a terrible outing from him. I need him to drop, 20 a game.
Right.
At least, what I'm saying? Like, and him not doing that, like, I need everyone else to step up, what I'm saying? Like, and like, what was encouraging from what I seen from my team was just that, like, everyone damn near scored a touchdown. Like, last year I didn't have anyone that scored touchdowns. Like, the big three, Garrett Wilson, DK, and Amara all scored. So we got the W with Burrow playing that terrible. Josh Allen didn't help. Diggs looks like he's still got another good year of, like, being a dominant player. I noticed that, just the star was born, with Garrett Wilson. The star, like, that catch was unbelievable.
Yeah, it was definitely.
It was a magical Monday night dagger.
Yeah, it was definitely a Odell Beckham Jr. where he reached behind and caught it. Like, it's one of those, he's never done it again. And I doubt Garrett Wilson will have a touchdown in the next game. Yeah, I mean, you had a great week. Everybody that needed to do something did something. But I don't know if you can expect that week in and week out. Garrett Wilson is like a black eye, right? He's just like, in my opinion, he was a star, and now you're like stressing just because Aaron Rodgers is gone, right? Like, Garrett Wilson only had 34 yards and a touchdown. So it's like, without that touchdown, it would have been 3 points. And like, watching that Jets game, I mean, they would run it, right? First, second, and third down. They didn't even try to pass it. And Garrett Wilson was getting open, but I think Zach Wilson, there's a reason they didn't trust him in his third year, right? Like, they traded for it. Like, well, they signed Aaron Rodgers, and I think that's your biggest thing. And then DK Metcalf, is he really back, or is it just like, he got a touchdown? I mean, is he really back? Is he really back?
That's one thing about, our league. You got to know your league, and standards just touchdown dominant. Like, it's. Yeah, at the end of the day, bro, like, you have 10 catches for 100 yards. Some guy's got 2. He's got 20 yards and 2 touchdowns, 2, like, 1-yard runs. In our league, like, he had a better day. DK didn't have the touchdowns last year. No. He's already got 1 week 1. Like, one in, 30 yards? Yeah, like, he's already got 1 week 1. Like, so he's already returning in the right direction. Let's get my team scoring more. The more we score, the more we're going to win. Right. Which is why, we beat you. And Tyler Bass just going nuts last night.
But, like, even further, David Montgomery had 21 touches.
Yeah.
I don't think another running back this week had 21 touches. That's a lot of touches. And I don't think that's sustainable, especially Gibbs had 7 touches or 8.
Yeah.
It's like it's bound to shift.
Bro, I had Swift for 2 years, 2.5 years, 3 years, whatever it was.
Yeah.
Jamal Williams, he's not better than DeAndre Swift. I'm not going. Like, it can happen. Like, welcome to the Detroit Lions, bro. Like, you got Gibbs, I got Montgomery. He's my touchdown magnet. Just go out there, give me 10. That's all I need from Montgomery. Gibbs can do all the flashy stuff. It might even out.
Right.
But I just know Dan Campbell, and I just think that goal line, like, touchdowns, like, Montgomery's gonna be relevant. He's gonna be startable. Like, Gibbs might be the better back. He probably would be, should be. But 1 week down, like, Monty's going to be a presence,
21 touches, only 74 yards, and a touchdown.
I think it's because you can't be a klutz opening night against the Chiefs.
I think that's like,
he didn't get touched. That's a walk-in. It's just too big.
It wasn't a walk-in. I think
the bright lights got him, man.
I don't think it was a walk-in there. But yeah, I mean, solid game, right? What happened with Joe? Did you watch that game?
Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
We had red zone, and when your team's playing and you haven't seen them in like an hour and a half on red zone, you just know things aren't going well.
Right, yeah.
We didn't see the Bengals game because it didn't matter.
Yeah.
Every time you look, it was just Deshaun Watson turning back the clock. You know what I'm saying? Like I was impressed by him a lot. But no, yeah, it was bad, man. It was like Joe Burrow he was just not ready to go. And like I think they'll bounce back though. I think that it was just a little bit of, like they talked a lot like what Chase called them the elves. Like there's a lot of like incentive, a lot of bulletin board material. They were pissed. Myles Garrett's out there doing a crossover to get a sack. Like shake it off. That's a week. That's a week 1-1. I think we've seen that a lot throughout this week.
Yeah, I think, you did solid. I think the sky's the limit for my team. I think this is the worst week of the season. I'm really happy to get out the way. I don't think we score less than 60 points the rest of the season. I mean, Josh Allen, 4 turnovers. There was 1 butt fumble. 1 turnover was really Gabe Davis's fault. And then 2 other ones is just awareness by Josh Allen there. I think he's going to fix that later in the season. Breece Hall looked amazing. He only had like 7 rushes. And with that, he had like 140 rushing yards, 1 big 85-yard run. That was amazing. I was off my seat. I was yelling at the TV. Jahmyr Gibbs, 7 touches, and I think he had like 4 receptions, totaling 60 yards. It's only going to go up. Stephon Diggs did what he did. T. Higgins, goose egg. Goose egg, bro. I think he had 1 target. Look, Jamar Chase had 3 points. So it's the whole Bengals offense, and then obviously Joe Burrow with only, what was that, like 3 points that he gave you? Like, don't laugh, all right?
I'm just saying, but like, it wasn't like that was the big offseason acquisition.
It was.
But I got some. I want to touch on that later.
And I think that's behind us. And Jahan Dotson, the sky's the limit. I think that kid's gonna have a touchdown and 80 yards next game. I mean, that's what a solid 14, 15 points right there.
He was bad, man.
I think he looked good. I watched that entire game. I'm excited for the Commanders.
Bad.
And I'm excited for their season. But, looking at your bench, I just don't see anything to be happy about on your bench. Really no activity. On my end, I at least have Alexander Madison playing really well.
Yeah, he should have been starting probably.
I don't know, but I have him in my back pocket, and I look at your bench, and I see no one playable.
But that's what I'm. That's
I
why
see
I mean,
no one playable.
Going back,
I see no upside.
That's what I mean.
Your season is rough, man. That's what I'm just trying to.
I'm wanting to know right now, but that's what I mean by going back to like you got to play the right guys. Like you're saying, like you can just autopilot, you can just start whatever. Like no, like you got shaky. I feel like with me and you, like I feel like it's different than you playing. Like you hate Branch, you hate Branch Ranch. Like you don't think that they're a quality team. Like you might I'll throw Madison out there because you're not really worried. Like with me, I feel like you're going for like the big shot. Like okay, I want to show him that who's your flex?
Jahan Dotson, because I'm a believer in Jahan.
Yeah, exactly. Because we had that little spat with Jahan Dotson. You were like, I'm gonna start Jahan, and he's gonna go off on me.
He's gonna start week 2.
But I'm saying that influenced
and
your
he's
decision.
Gonna start week 3. And he's gonna start week 4.
We'll see,
he is.
We'll see.
My flex for the season.
Okay, we'll see.
But
let's get to the next game.
Right.
Here. We got.
What do you got?
We got Kevin versus Jerry.
Okay.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. I mean, what a way to start out the fucking season, man. To the Kingdom. Like, that game was the GGs have been handed out, which I'm not a big fan of that. And I don't get why everyone wants to act like like fucking pussies and getting out a fucking GG with maybe a Monday night game left or whatever it is.
Did he not?
Huh?
Or what are you talking about?
Just like when like the game's not over, but someone wants to say good game.
Jerry, because Jerry did GG,
right?
Like,
and it's a curse. Jerry knows it's a curse. He does it all the time. Jerry be quiet as hell. I was like, GG is like fucking 3 p.m. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, get out of here, bro. Like, like I don't like that. I don't like the GG like that.
I thought he was. I can't remember the score. Do you remember the score? It was pretty bad, right? Because he dropped 30 with Dallas, so like 100 minus 30, like it was like.
But this is fantasy
60,
football, man.
something.
You would think, 70. But that was crazy. I mean, Cam, impressive week. Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Just go back to our game for a split second. I just wanted. I did want to touch on like you always are saying like you got like good young receiving core. It's just damn like the 2 young guys you're moving on with your future that you're building this thing around. T. Higgins and Drake London both dropped 0 points.
Right.
Like that really stood out to me. It was like damn, like my 3 scored touchdown. And yours go out there and drop 0-0. And Jahan Dotson dropped what did he drop? 5?
Yeah, 5.
Well, are we sure
Or
it was
something like-
4.5?
It was 4. He
Okay.
got 4 points.
Damn, three of them combined
John was
4.5.
looking really good out there.
Yeah, three of them combined
the
under
game.
5, man.
Yeah,
Three of them
I
combined
mean-
under your big three, the young ones. Diggs
Right,
is still here,
right.
but the young ones
Yeah.
going forward, like, damn, it's
I
like
wouldn't
I
say
gotta
they're
question
my
your
young
scouting.
ones.
Yeah, you are your young ones. I gotta look at the scouting. Like,
I think
I don't know how locked in you are, but anyways,
It's definitely.
Just want to touch. I didn't want to leave that out. I just wrote down my notes. I was like, oh yeah, man.
I'm just gonna say my young ones are Hall, Gibbs.
I know I'm talking about the
and T.
receiving core.
Higgins.
I know I'm talking about the receiving core.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the receiving
Yeah.
core is a work in progress.
The one that you said that
But we
because you
got
said
T.
that
Higgins.
because you said that Jahan Dodson he's your flex for the year out, right?
Right.
So like that means you're starting 3 receivers, right?
Right.
And then you got one of them being Diggs, which is the fucking veteran, which I said I give my respect to. I
He's
tip my
leading us.
cap
Yeah, he's leading
to
us.
Diggs, but
Yeah.
then you got Jahan, Higgins, London, three
Right.
of them combined for week
Right.
1 under
Right.
5. Like that's just alarming to me. If I was you, I'd be alarmed. If
Wow,
DK, Amara, and
Yeah.
fucking Garrett Wilson combined under 5 for week 1, I'd be alarmed right now. I would have lost the game.
Right. I think
that's
my
why we do
wide
lose the
receiver core, just looking at DK Metcalf, I think we have a lot of upside. But like just moving forward, I think, between Jerry and Captain, the team that should have won, the better team won. Captain should have never scored 100. I mean, his kicker 18, his defense 14. I mean, we're not going to see that again. I mean, that's a big piece of his offense.
How you gonna come
I
after
don't-
Captain Lee's special teams when he lost to Jerry dropping? How many does Cowboys drop? 30 what?
I think the better team won.
30
though.
what? I don't give a. Like,
I think the better team
how much
won,
did the
though.
defense drop?
I think week in and week out, the better team won. Jerry won with 30. It was 35 with the Cowboys.
Oh my God,
And
35. He didn't deserve
I
to
think
win.
Jerry wins week 2
I mean, look,
without 35 points, but with the rest of his team kind of hitting on all cylinders. I just think Captain got lucky, just not lucky enough with just how his team played. Because, I mean, you look around and it's like not a great looking team.
I just don't like how you're coming after his special teams. When like, come on,
Well, and
like
his
let's
kicker,
just
too.
leave the special team in
Yeah,
this
his
game
kicker,
alone.
too.
Yeah, his kick two. They combined
too.
for his what Jerry's defense dropped
Exactly.
Yeah,
And I
like,
just
that's a
I just
lot.
don't.
for one defense.
Exactly,
And
but
what
it was
Jerry's
a
kicker
big
drop?
piece
What
of
Jerry's-
his offense.
Okay, well, what Jerry's kicker dropped? And then they had to add that
He
too.
had 8. He had
All right,
8 points. Average 8.
eight plus
Average
that, 8 plus his defense. Like
I just think I think just the,
the
better team
won. Yeah, I think
the
that,
better team won.
I think the better team did win, but I don't think that they necessarily deserved to win. I think Captain team played a good game. So they impressed me. Played a good game. Sean Watson, he looked nice.
He did, and I just don't think
Yeah.
in week 2 we're going to see the same thing. Right.
ETN, I give Jerry the shout out. I like what ETN.
Right.
The two guys I traded in back-to-back seasons for draft picks, ETN and Calvin Ridley, both to the Jaguars. Jerry to Drew, they're both looking good. So have fun with them. Then we got La Familia versus Trey. La Familia's talent is off the charts, and that's
Right.
without
Yeah.
Cooper Kupp. He's on IR. Like he
Right.
can,
I mean,
he can go crazy.
I think every year La Familia's up there, right?
Yeah,
He's
it
one of the
is.
top
But like,
teams.
damn, like what a statement! Like
There's
just
nothing
he
new.
went out, he kicked Ty's ass,
He
man.
did what he was supposed to do, and nothing less and nothing more. Ty
he
starting
didn't-
Jerry McKinnon. I mean, that was a stretch.
It was.
That was a bet.
It was.
It didn't work out.
Did
It
not.
didn't hit like his other parlays, but
not.
Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen, so underwhelming for Ty. But those two wide receivers. Those guys are old, right? But I think it's interesting with La Familia. I think Lamar Jackson has once again proven how utterly overrated he is and how unbelievably high he's always been taken in the draft. This is what I see. If Anthony Richardson, I know he's questionable. I don't really know what the injury's looking like there. But if he can remain healthy, have a solid season, I can see La Familia trying to move Lamar Jackson this season for maybe a second round pick. And I think that's a lot for Lamar Jackson. I think Lamar Jackson even last year was underwhelming. I think this year he only had 6 points where he was projected 22 points. It's just an interesting team. Quarterback is not an issue for, Alonso just because the rest of his offense is so elite. Even with Zay Flowers, he can put whoever he wants on that second just because his running backs are pretty solid all around. But that's just what I wanted to say a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And, he also has Jordan Addison, right? So between Zay Flowers and Jordan Addison, he had Khalil Herbert as well, solid. I think, I kind of like
What Khalil
his
Herbert
bench.
do? What did Herbert do?
He had 8 points, 9 carries, 27 yards, and 37 receiving yards. So he was solid, right? You watched the Bears game. I think Khalil Herbert in the first half was pretty decent. He was looking good.
No.
I think he'd be someone you should have drafted. Ty, I mean, I don't know what.
Did you watch the Bears game?
Huh?
Did you watch the Bears game?
Yeah, I turned it off.
Do you think that who do you think is gonna be our starting running back next week?
Khalil Herbert.
Yeah, over Roshan.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
I think
I warned you about him. Just let you know. We'll get to them. I got a little something.
Yeah, I know he's on your bench, but I just don't think he's gonna. I don't think they're gonna make the switch.
One more thing on Ty though. I think
Damon didn't work out. Yeah.
I think with Trey, and I've experienced it. Like Father Time's undefeated. And I think the window has closed for Trey.
Yeah. I believe that too.
I think it's time for the old Trey reboot. Luckily, I have his first round pick this year, but I think he has Justin, so he'll be fine. But
yeah.
I don't know. I don't see
right.
I don't see it this year for Trey. I don't see it.
I don't see it either.
He had a window. He had a run, man.
Mm-hmm.
But
I think
it was week one. I'm not doing week. I'm not trying to do week one overreaction. I'm just.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. With Jonathan Taylor, he can. If Jonathan Taylor comes back and does Jonathan Taylor, that's a different story.
Mm-hmm.
We'll talk about that when it happens. But as of right now, looking at it, I don't know, man. No one really pops off the page.
100%. I think he tries to move Dameon Pierce this week for as many picks as he can. Because, Jared McKinnon's not going to do it. Aaron Jones to do that, 24 fantasy points every single week is just difficult to imagine, even though Green Bay looked, they looked solid against, the Bears with what they did have. But it'll be interesting, again, La Familia doing what he had to do. He's obviously going to make the playoffs. He is our round one stepping stone. But after that, we have, do you have...
next one.
Ruben and Branch?
Yeah, Ruben Gotti. I wanted to, look at it. Ruben's a Bears fan, so he's got the double whammy with Fields. When Fields is bad with the Bears, and he's bad with fantasy, it sucks. Yeah. I still think that he's gonna be a good fantasy quarterback, but I don't think that it's gonna be. And I know Warren, but I just had this feeling all offseason. I'm like, everyone that's just all in on Fields for fantasy, welcome to being a Bears fan for the year. It's just not gonna be smooth. He could be he'll have those games, but it could be games where he looks like that, or it's under 15 for a couple games in a row. We'll see. Ruben might be that team where he just missed. He's a quarterback away, from being crazy. But I think Fields can be it. But if it's not, then it's damn, Ruben's got to find a quarterback.
Yeah,
just like the Bears do. Gotti's team. Yeah, there's no dogs. There's no dogs. I'm looking at it damn, you gotta watch out. There's no one you game plan for, and I hope that changes in the future one day. But I don't there's no one I game plan for. Mike Evans was nice to see. I like that he's still alive, and he might probably better than T. Higgins this year, which that means that guy is moving in the right direction. He's doing the right steps. It's a great trade to head into the season, I think, for his team. So he's got to get better. But yeah, he don't got that dog. He don't got no one you game plan for.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ruben, does he need a quarterback? His wide receiver core and his running back core, they're just so elite. I don't think you see really a lot of teams that are completely full. Alonso is there, but I just think Ruben's team is just much more well-rounded. Every single position. Earlier before we started, we talked about just Otto kind of just setting the lineup and not worrying about it for the rest of the season. Ruben's team is one of those teams. Who would he switch on his team? Nobody. Maybe quarterback, but, Justin Fields, solid 14 points. I think if you were to try to stream a quarterback, you're looking at maybe getting 15 to 18 points, maybe 20 on the upside on somebody. But as long as Fields, again, he scored 98 points with Fields. Alonso did score 130. Ruben does need to kind of be in the 130 range. Um, and Jamar Chase was lackluster. CeeDee Lamb was kind of lackluster too. I see that changing in the future.
Mm-hmm.
And, I echo the same thing with, not Ty's, but Branch's team. I mean, Mike Evans. I thought that he didn't sign a new contract.
No, he didn't.
So there was this whole holdout about, if you don't give me a contract September 9th,
That means he's not. He said he won't re-sign next year.
Is that what it was? He made it seem, at least the media made it seem like if nothing was done September 9th, we weren't going to do anything. We were going to sit out, a little Chris Jones action. And that's what I would have loved from Mike Evans, is to actually sit out, bro. Your September 9th deadline meant absolutely nothing. Like, yeah, you're going to walk next year. Well, that's fine, Mike, because Baker Mayfield's our quarterback. Godwin is probably going to, that's a massive contract there too. Like, I just don't see good things happening for the Buccaneers for the rest of the season. So I really would have liked Mike Evans to hold out. I think that his value drops a little bit without holding out. He would have held out. He would have maybe gotten traded to a better team, and he would have been a weapon.
Yeah, look at it like how you looked at him though in the offseason. Like, you didn't think that he was the same old Mike. So him holding out, he doesn't get to prove that. Him playing, now it's like, damn, someone might trade for this guy now.
I don't think so.
I
think
so.
His trade value is gone. I think with Baker Mayfield at quarterback,
how would his trade value be gone? It's just the logic.
He would have to maintain this kind of performance. 12. I mean, he only had 12 points. That's a touchdown in like 40 yards.
Are you talking about fantasy trade value?
Yeah, fantasy trade value.
Okay.
In football trade value, like it's there, but like the Bucks aren't like in any kind of like position to really.
But I thought you're saying. I was saying that his value's there as like being traded still in the NFL. Like if he holds out, so how is him holding out beneficial for
Branch?
For fantasy?
Yeah,
value?
because if he gets on a better team, his value just is much more on a better team.
I'm saying, but him holding out, why would that be? Why would if you were Branch, you'd want him to hold out? How does he get more value if he holds out in fantasy?
Well, like if he holds out, then the team maybe relooks some things, and they're like, okay, he's not gonna play for us. We're burning money here. Maybe let's move him. Right? Let's try to do something instead of just like lighting cash on fire.
Okay.
Because that's what it would be, right? If you were to hold out, is like cash would be, lit on fire.
Yeah.
Right. But and then, so that's why, I would have liked him to hold out. And Dalvin Cook, I was surprised to see Dalvin Cook play the way he did. He got the touches that I thought he was going to get. He had 13 touches, but only 33 yards rushing. That was surprising. I think if I'm Branch, I'm a little worried about that. About just that low production from Dalvin. And I'm scared because I saw Brees run for over 100 yards. It's like, okay. And I think Brees only had like 7 touches. So like once, that moves more like the production, the carries towards Brees, I think that just spells trouble for Dalvin Cook, especially with the loss of Aaron Rodgers. You saw that game. Yeah. They had maybe like, I'm over exaggerating it, but there was like 5 passing plays for Zach Wilson. And I don't want to hear this about, the offense was built for Aaron Rodgers. They were making plays on the fly. Like, come on, man. You're a professional organization. You have to plan for all these little things to happen. Like, there's no way you thought Aaron Rodgers has had injuries in the past. Like, you have to plan for it. There's no way that they didn't think Zach Wilson would have to come into the game. So, again, like, he put up, solid 77 points. Would have beat me. Would have beat a couple other people, but, it's just a bad outlook. And Ruben did what he did, and I think, great team going forward.
Yeah, and then we got Colin and Drew. Just like Ty, I do think Colin's window is closed. I think we're done, Colin. I think he had a hell of a run. I think it's time to get young. I think in a couple weeks we'll be blowing that up. I think you and Trey, you've had your battles. I was in there. I bowed out. I feel like we're on the cusp of coming back. Like, but you and Trey, the window has been shut. In my opinion, not week one overreaction. Just looking at both your teams, it's just I don't get the fear. The fear is just not there anymore. Like it shifted to like Ruben, Drew, Alonzo. When you're thinking about it. But then going to Drew's team. Speaking of him, I like the team a lot. Really look really good. I think that Drew's window to win is still open.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think again, it sucks for Colin because he just traded for Terry, and I would see Alonso's pain in like having to start Terry just because of like the injury and the fact that the quarterback, like, when Terry first came out, when he drafted him, I think he had, really good production value, but, Alonso got out of that. Do you remember what they traded for?
No.
But Alonso was able to get that off of his plate. I don't know if there were any picks involved. But yeah, it's not Amari Cooper, even with a better, you said you like how Deshaun Watson was playing.
Yeah.
Amari Cooper only had 3 points. Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen next week. Saquon, underwhelming 6. That game was such a shit show. Call it what you want. Like, it was a lot of rain. It wasn't the greatest conditions. Do you have an update on Austin Eckler's injury, right? Because he's questionable.
No.
It looks like Isaiah Pacheco, he's trying to move Isaiah Pacheco, is what I'm hearing. He's on his bench. I think he got him in the pre-draft, but it looks like he's trying to move him now. Pacheco had 8 touches, 23 yards, which is, a little underwhelming because, when I was watching that game, it looked like Pacheco was getting the ball a lot more than that. It looks like he was heavily involved in the offense. But yeah, Drew, big surprise. I think he had one of the largest jumps in final standings. But Calvin Ridley came out to play. I think that was the big question, right? Is Calvin really going to be the same Ridley from 3 years ago, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It's been a long time. George Kittle, he is who we thought he was. Justin Herbert, solid game. Nick Chubb, defying age. This guy doesn't stop. He's old. You thought he would have stopped, but great game. I think A.J. Brown has a better game next week, and solid game by Drew. I really like that team, really turning it around there. But, just to bring it up, Colin did still put 84 points up without Travis Kelce. This bone bruise, whatever they want, the Chiefs want to call it. I don't know if they're hiding it. I don't know if they're trying to make the injury, lighter than it actually is. But, right now without Kelce, I think you see the hole. I think you see the dominance of Kelce.
Yeah.
Because if Kelce was there, right?
Yeah.
It would have been at least 15 points.
Yeah,
And it could have changed the game because it was only 90. Drew only dropped 97. It would have made the game a lot closer than it was.
Yeah.
Just because, watching the Chiefs play, Mahomes struggled, right? He struggled with the wide receivers he had, even with the tight end. He didn't have that connection. I think if Kelce remains out, Colin's not making the playoffs, right?
Right.
So that's one thing you'll watch with Colin's team is that Kelce factor. But I think, I just think that's one thing to really watch for him there.
Yeah.
What do we got? I think that was it.
Yeah. That's all the matchups. Biggest takeaways. You're a big fan of the final standing projections. You think that the AI gets it right.
Yeah.
And I did want to hear your refresh of because I told you updates. It's gonna update throughout the season.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on the latest update?
I think Drew definitely jumps up a couple spots. I think Ty and Colin drop a couple spots. I think Drew goes up. I think I said drop. I correct that. I think Drew goes up a couple spots. But I do think Branch is at the bottom. Captain's still at the bottom. I don't think you go up as much. I think you're at where you're at. I think you still have a lot to prove.
No,
right?
yeah. Well, I mean, but they have me going. I was wondering, what are your thoughts on the AI thinking? I did change because you said Drew went up a lot. Me and Drew went up the same amount of slots.
Right.
So
right, and I think you should actually remain where you're at. I don't think you should have. You haven't really earned the right, in my opinion, just based on your team in the past and really what happened this week. Right. I think it was very week specific. I think
Gotcha.
this is
That's four slots. That's a lot. It's not against
is.
one. It's like,
It
damn,
is.
they got
I
me
think
like
it's a
making
lot.
the playoffs by like not even like 60,
Yeah,
but like
I
I'll be the
think-
fifth seed. That's what they got me at.
You know, I think what the AI will never get is the eye test, right? Because they didn't watch the game.
No,
You know, we
they
watched the
didn't.
game.
We did.
And I think, you know, for an initial like pre-season ranking, I think it did do a good job because it's obviously looking, it's basing everything on
But-
last season's numbers, and
Numbers,
like that's all I
yes.
got to go off of, right?
And what it goes off is the last game's numbers, which could be what your eyes are going off of. It's going off of this analytical. So that's why I tried telling you, like,
Yeah.
it's a nice reference to have, but
Right.
you were just very strong
Right.
of like on like no. If this thing tells me like to go like straight into a river, I'm driving
I
in
don't-
GPS.
I don't know.
Like if you're driving GPS, it says turn left, and you're gonna turn left into like
Yeah.
the
I don't
Mississippi River.
know if I
you
felt
do it.
that way.
I think you would do it. And now that it's got what I mean, like you're not a playoff team. I don't think you were at first, anyways. But the jump that I made, you don't want to play along with it anymore, and I think it's kind of like a coward move. Things could move back, but
Yeah,
for you to
I
just
don't-
already
okay, I don't
abandon
think
the final
I-
standing projections it's telling. It's telling that like
Yeah.
it was a lot more opinionated than like factual and that was coming out out of your mouth.
Yeah, I just don't agree with that. I don't think I was like,
you were huge
for the
on it.
preseason rankings. Yeah,
that's what I'm
I was
saying.
all the way with them.
And it's going off last year's numbers. It's going last
Right.
game numbers.
Right.
So it's
Right.
kind of the same.
So
It's
I
like the
think-
same. It's like no, I don't want to. I don't want to drink the milk out of a cow.
Yeah,
I want to drink it out the carton.
I think.
It's like
I think once the season
drinking the milk, you know what I'm saying? Like-
week one, like again, man, week one, it's probably basing numbers only on week one. I think as the weeks progress, it's gonna start taking into account week one, but then also week two, week three. So we're probably gonna see you regress to. It's probably it has you at 5. I think it's gonna move you back to 6 next week. Then the following week, you may stay at 6, or you might go down to 7. I think it's gonna be slower. I don't think we're gonna see massive jumps by you and Drew again. I think we're going to see it normalize. But that's just my take, and I think like that aligns with what I said in the last episode too.
yeah, but you were a little more strong on the final standings, and to go back to that analogy, like you know, so you just there's no way you're drinking the milk out of the udder of the cow, but close your eyes, someone gets the milk into a carton. That's carton. I could have pissed in that carton, rinsed it out, whatever. As long as it's in the carton, you'll drink it. Like that's kind of like what I'm getting from what you're saying. I'm sure that they'll understand if they can run it back and listen to it, but like that's just kind of like where
right.
that's our disconnect.
Yeah, I think.
But go to my next takeaway, and then I'll let you get to
Right.
yours. But I got 3 more actually. Rodgers, how much is this going to hurt GW? The star, the rising star of the league.
Big time, yeah.
I think it does.
Fell off a cliff. Yeah.
It definitely puts a dent in it.
Yeah.
Um,
I think it's
one
like
of the things that
it's a triple homicide. It's not a dent.
that would be if he tore his Achilles. I was thinking about that today. Like, no, like at the end of the day, like he's still healthy. So if he tore his Achilles, it would be like, damn, I'd be so pissed. I'd be more pissed because like Rodgers is playing. Like, no, it could be him. At least it's like I still have my guy, right?
Zach
And-
Wilson is the guy that we know who
I know,
he is.
I know.
bro.
But let me
Like,
finish.
he's not
let
good.
Me, let me finish my
He's not
point.
good.
Let me finish my point though. Look, there's certain receivers that need to be quarterback proof for you to have faith, right? Last year, that was his story of his rookie year. He had like randomest quarterbacks throwing him the ball, right? This year is going to be another one that's not going to be a great quarterback throwing it to him, right? If he can be solid this year, it's going to keep proving that he's actually that dog. And he will one day get it, but then the question's already going to be gone of like, how cold is he? He go out there and do it. There's a reason he was my number 3. There was no pressure on him. It was Amon-Ra, then DK. He was my flex.
DK
Let him
did
just
that.
be the flex. He's healthy. I'm going to let him play. Look, that ball was terrible I was throwing to him. Let the star shine, man. Let that kid go get the ball, man. It's not that hard just to toss it up to him. Like, let's keep hating on GW.
Yeah.
And when he goes out there and shows out this year and balls out, regardless the quarterback, and then, we're done playing this year? Like, no, it's Dynasty, right? Yeah, he's going to be back next year.
Well, of course, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to be back next
Yeah,
year.
yeah.
And when we're
Next
going into
year, yeah.
next year, after he's already had now this crazy season without it, it's like, dude, now he's getting Rodgers finally.
Yeah.
We can go down that path. But for right now, like, I'm good. I'm good right now because we have other players. he's part of a big three, you know, and he's a young player and it's a
Yeah.
dynasty league. Another thing that really stood out to me, like hugely apparent after week 1, was how Bijan Robinson is light years ahead of Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, wow. Talk about 1 to 2, like, that's like LeBron to like Darko almost. You know, like there's no way. There was no toss up, there was no debate who was going number 1, and it shows why
Yeah.
Bijan Robinson is by clear going to be the rookie of the year this year. Best rookie running back in the kingdom by far. Jahmyr Gibbs might not even be number 2. This guy's tripping over shoelaces on walking touchdowns. He's losing, like, he's not ready for the bright lights.
Yeah.
He's running so tall that this guy's getting popped. I don't know if he's going to make it through the season, bro. He's getting cracked out there. So that was apparent. Gibbs, he's like a fake Alvin Kamara, but he's just so fucking clumsy, man. Like, he's just such a goof out there running. He's got like 2 left feet. He's just a fucking klutz, man. Like, damn, bro. Like, what the fuck's going on, bro? You could have walked one in, dude. Like, what in the, like, oh my, this guy's supposed to be like smooth. Like, he went number 12. Like, this guy, man, he's got fucking feet for hands and hands for feet, and yeah, you know, that's my thoughts on that. Bijan, he looked incredible. He looked absolutely, that first touchdown run, wow. Another big takeaway was
Yeah, go ahead.
it was a touchdown. The Bijan, the one where he like stepped back.
It was a receiving touchdown.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, it receiving touchdown. Sure, his first official touchdown in the NFL. Dog. Then
All right, let me respond. Let me respond to those last 2 comments.
All right, go ahead.
Let me just respond to that. And I'm gonna walk it back the way that you presented it.
Go ahead.
Bijan went 10 carries for only 56 rushing yards. I think that's a little underwhelming. I would have expected a little bit more for that kind of production. And on top of that, 6 receptions. 6 receptions for 27 yards.
It's 5 yards a carry.
I mean, I just put a little more.
It's 5 yards a carry.
I just put a little more, and then 6 receptions for only 27 yards and 1 touchdown. I mean,
Sure.
he caught the ball. That's great. But he got like 1 or 2 yards, right? So they're just dumping it to the side. Is he that powerful? Is his legs there? I don't know. I just think there should have been a little more power. Look,
I would say a
Jahmyr
2-year
Gibbs.
gap between him and Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs has
2 to 3.
a really interesting situation being in that Dan Campbell offense. They have multiple weapons. Bro. They have a competent quarterback.
They got 1 weapon.
They have a competent quarterback. They have Amon-Ra. They have David Montgomery. They have a couple other side wide receivers. So Jahmyr Gibbs has a lot to work against. Bijan has like nothing to work against, and yet his numbers are a little underwhelming. Tyler Algier had 21 touches, or he had more touches, and he had 21 fantasy points. Obviously, producing way more than Bijan, and it might be like a little switch here and there, but they're on a Falcons offense where it's very run heavy. It's very run heavy. So Bijan has a lot of things going for him. I think he's still underproduced on a run heavy offense. And I think Gibbs has a huge hurdle, a huge mountain to climb that he has no control over.
Yeah, it's being born with 2 left feet.
It's Dan Campbell.
It's being born with 2 left feet. He has no control over it.
He fell on 1 play. I think you're basing everything on like 1 look. I think that
lost him the touches.
I think before that he looked very good.
Yeah, he got popped.
And then Garrett Wilson, I already gave my take on Garrett Wilson.
I don't know last.
You know, that incident was a triple homicide, right? That was a drunk driver killing a family of 4. It doesn't get worse than that. It doesn't get worse than that.
He's healthy. He's still playing. He's still playing.
Aaron fell and then whoosh, like, bro, it's done. And we saw it was very evident after that, right?
I feel like that was kind of bad taste, like kind of mimicking like an airplane like crashing, like Aaron fell.
It's a 12.
I know, but it's just the day after.
It's the 12. It's the 12. Look, I think
sound effect you did.
I think we got over, the Native American slaughters and obviously
maybe more than a day.
Maybe we got over that.
Maybe it took more than a day.
Maybe get over this.
It might have took more than a day.
Either way, I think Garrett Wilson's value is off. I don't think he's going to be your flex for very long. I think he's going to be tough.
Star, man.
Um,
Star is born.
But
That
it's
kid,
going to be
that
really
dagger.
interesting to see Zach Wilson throw
When
multiple
it's-
interceptions. That is going to be a run-heavy offense. What the Jets have going for them is a stellar defense and amazing running backs in Dalvin Cook and Breece Hall. I think that's going to be the offense. The defense is going to show up like they did. And that's just to kind of like walking back your 2 takes now. I know you have a couple more.
Yeah.
So feel free to kind of continue.
Yeah, I got one last, big takeaway is the target on your head is very Skip Bayless-esque. I think you've really taken on that role like head on and grabbed the wheel. Like, and I think it's funny, and I'm locked into that. That's hilarious. I am very interested in when you get your first win because you're a big like, oh, it's just this, oh, it's just that, and I get it. I do get it in the grand scheme of things, of course, but. Then it's just like, then, and you're 0-2.
Like
and then it's like, then, and you're 0-3. And it's like, then, and and it's like, wait, it's been a month. I've been playing fantasy football. Yeah. Like, I want to see who that's going to be this year. I'm glad it's not me. I got my first win. Like, thank God. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want to be that team again this year. The over. We're not riding that over train, bro, at all, man. Like,
yeah, and I love that. That's who it's shaping out to be. I'm definitely that guy. I'm not going to stay quiet. I can't wait if I do go 0-6, because I just think back to that 2019 tie. 0-6. Right, let's get the losses out the way in the first half, and then let's get all the dubs in the second half. And then we ride it through the playoffs. I think that's a beautiful story. And I can't wait. If I'm 0-3, I'm still at Branch's neck, because he's probably 0-3 too. If Alonso loses the next 2 games and I'm still 0-3, I'm there too. Like, it's not going to stop. We're going to win games, and we're going to make the playoffs. Like, it's not out of like our reach. Like, we're definitely there.
Okay. You have any takeaways?
Big takeaways, like we kind of already discussed. The biggest ones. I think. Just off the top of my head, if Austin Eckler were to lose time, I think if Austin Eckler were to lose multiple weeks, even with Kelsey, I think Colin should start thinking about, for the first draft, because that's a big piece.
Windows closed.
Ruben and Alonso, they did what they had to do. No takeaways there. Nothing special, nothing surprising. They just got the job. They did what we all expect them to do, and they'll make the playoffs. No big takeaways, honestly, other than, Jerry's defense did drop 35 points. I don't see that happening, but I do see the rest of Jerry's team hitting on all cylinders. I think this is the biggest takeaway of all is, I love the energy in the group chat about my worst week. And my worst week has passed. There is no way.
I don't know, man.
There's no way that next week I don't drop 135 points.
Really?
Right. I think that's the team I have.
Tie, right?
I play tie. It's unfortunate tie.
That's like my favorite game of the week. It's win-win. Like, I cannot.
Right. And who do you play? We'll get into that. Mm-hmm. But biggest takeaway is I'm so glad the dark days are behind us, and it's nothing but up from here. I mean, it's fantastic. I think I'm hitting at least 90 points on a weekly average. And some games being even more. I love them playing tie, but that's my only takeaway. I think you want to start getting into next week's matchups.
Yeah. I mean, I went through the betting lines of who I would take just based on the spreads, the early spreads that are up there. They might have changed by now, but just what I had. I would take me plus 2.5. I think underdog going into this week after winning week 1. Jerry having the Cowboy miracle performance to win that game. I think I should be the favorite, but I'm not, so I'm gonna take me plus 2.5. Cabin, who's Cabin play?
Colin.
Yeah, I got Cabin plus 5.7. I think Colin, like you said with Eckler, that's tough. Kelsey doesn't seem like he's gonna be back for a while. I think Colin's window's closed.
Yeah.
I think it could be a real rough one for Colin this year.
If Eckler were to lose time and Kelsey not play, definitely.
And then I got, you versus Trey. This is literally like a coin toss. I think it's two bad teams. I think it's two of the worst teams in the league, probably.
Yeah.
About to go at it this week.
Yeah.
Someone's gonna get their first win though.
Right. Yeah, the line's really close. I mean,
I am gonna take Trey plus 1.4 just because it's so close. I might as well take the points.
right.
You know, like
I think
I'm not really
I
that.
think you're wrong.
You know, but that's just my philosophy. I'm gonna it's that close. I might as well take the points because it's two bad teams that I can't really predict
I don't
what's
think
gonna
they're
happen.
bad teams. Yeah,
Um,
I think Ty's team is pretty bad. Yeah,
and then La Familia.
plus 20, plus 21.
Yeah, I'm taking a minus 21.1.
Yeah, the AI is definitely like me and the AI when we say branch ranch is the bottom of the bottom, like the bottom of the stinkiest rag in the bottom of the barrel. It's been sitting in water for 5 years. You don't want to even go touch it. It's in your garage. I gotta clean it, but I'm not gonna touch that piece of shit, bro. Like, and the AI is saying it too. Plus 21, like absolutely.
I mean, it's La Familia. Like
That
I am
is this
gonna
week's
do
ass
minus.
wipe.
Yeah,
Like, if
I'm
there's
gonna
an
take
ass
minus.
wipe of the week, it's this game. Like La Familia could probably, I would challenge him. Bench one of your wide receivers. Maybe don't play defense. Maybe sit Lamar Jackson, his overrated ass.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
What do you think is the more friendly entity? Is it, La Familia or is it Branch Ranch? Like which one gives the more homey vibe to you think?
Like better, like who I want to spend time with.
Just as a like the family, like all his like whatever he has, like the family, the fucking chipmunks he sits around
All
with,
right.
like,
Yeah,
or is it
the
God?
branch
He's on
ranch.
the ranch, the
Yeah,
farming.
definitely.
It's still the animals are involved too.
The
but
La Familia, the ranch is like very suspect to illegal activities.
okay.
Conduct over there is not the greatest.
Okay.
There's a lot of things happening behind closed doors. I would not want to enter that ranch.
Okay.
I think he beats his players. He's a beater,
He's a beater,
of his
okay.
players.
Right.
He beats his players, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
There's some things I don't think I can mention.
He did throw that meme in there. That guy that was cracking like a chain link whip, or how do you say this is him getting someone going?
Right.
I forgot who it was. Like Mike Evans going. There's like Dalvin
he's
Cook. He's
extremely
got
wild.
2 whips. He pushes it.
Yeah.
He pushes it.
But I'll give it to him that's probably his only thing going for this season is to be that really ranch that he's gonna be funny. He's gonna add that flavor. Even going probably 0-16, he's gonna provide something to the league that nobody else can. Right?
We'll see.
Not familiar.
We'll
He's
see,
just
man, 'cause you have a bad team, bro.
He's
So
gonna invite you to the cookout. I mean, you're gonna have a good time.
Right. Then I got Drew versus Ruben. Drew beat him in the playoffs last year. He's underdog. Both 1-0. I'm gonna take Drew plus 9.9.
Plus 9.9.
Yeah.
They have Ruben 9.9.
Do they?
9.9.
Plus?
Yeah.
Like Ruben's not the favorite.
No, he is the favorite.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm taking Drew plus 9.9.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah, Drew 9.9.
Right,
I'll take the points. I like Drew's team a lot. I think the best teams this year are gonna be me, Drew, Alonzo, Ruben. Drew, Alonzo, Ruben. I think
You definitely have a hard time not being super biased. There are glaring holes, gunshot wounds in your team that like they're bleeding out. Like your team's bleeding out, but you choose to say like this is the best team I've ever had.
I didn't say
like, you didn't say that, but your demeanor is like this is the greatest thing that's ever happened.
because like it's just like fantasy football. It's just I love it because it's like damn, like you never know what's gonna happen in a season. I remember when we first started like year one. It was like I can't wait to like look up and it says like 5 years and I can see like a history of like how teams changed and different things. Eras will shift quick as fuck. And I'm looking at the landscape of the league, and it's a lot of oldies around here that some people are riding with. Like Cooper Kupp's already on the IR right now. Like he can come back, he could be hurt. You never know how he's gonna go the rest of his career. Tyreek Hill's still lighting it up, but Devontae Adams, he's got Jimmy Garoppolo now. Like not Derek Carr. Like he might not look the same really. Like Diggs looks good this year to start off anyways, but I think we've seen Josh Allen forcing him the ball too much, and they kind of fucked him. So I think that they need to like chill out on that a little bit.
I think
but
I agree.
I just think that the new wave's coming of like I'm like doing these other drafts and it's like I would have to like not draft my players in the kingdom just because I didn't want to like double down on everyone. I just want to like have like a diversity. But it's like, damn, like everyone wants these young new guys. Like everyone feels like the era changed, and I feel like I'm like a part of that. I'm happy that I put myself in a position to be
Right.
a part of that. You know, I think
Right,
Kenneth Walker's gonna have a good year. You know, I think he dominated the touches, ran someone over. You know, the Seahawks played from behind the whole game. They couldn't really run the ball, but yeah, no, I think that I'm set up for that. You want to go through your batting lines or who you would take?
Yeah, we can do that. I would take, obviously I'm taking Ruben against Drew. You know, I think Ruben's just gonna obliterate Drew. I mean, again,
Really?
it's like how do you play against Ruben's team? I mean, his weakest link is what, the quarterback position, which like Justin
tight
Fields
end.
can probably, even through that brutal game, he still managed 15 points, right? And I think that's a solid outing. I'm taking Colin over captain. But right now, with Eckler playing, I think if Eckler is out, obviously, I think I'm shifting and I'm choosing, I got Justin, I got captain -2 without Eckler. With Eckler, it's probably Colin like -5, right?
Okay.
I got Jerry beating you, the better team winning. I mean, that Dallas defense, I'm getting Patriot 2018 vibes,
Okay.
right? That's the vibes I'm getting. Elite defense, completely shut down the Giants. The Giants aren't the greatest. I get that.
MetLife,
But
Rain.
I think that the way they're playing, hitting on all cylinders, I think, that defense
one.
is. I got Jerry -10. Moving on, because, yeah.
Is it minus? You just added -10, or like is it -10 right now?
It's -10 right now.
Let me see this.
Like, what do you mean?
Like what's it called? The projected score.
Oh, yeah, no, it's not -10.
Right. I was gonna say
It's a little, but right, we got to correct for the AI. Adjust for the AI a little bit there.
What do you mean?
It's a little too close. They have you guys a little too close.
Yeah, that's what I go off of though. Like, are you gonna take it or not? They're the ones we
Oh.
don't Vegas. Like you're like sitting there like, hey
Because yours
Vegas.
was, yours were
Like
different
you're the
than
guy.
mine.
You're the guy who thinks that you can get like, hey, what's Vegas' phone number? Like,
yeah.
I think that the Super
Yeah.
Bowl odds should be
Right.
right.
Well,
They're
and
gonna tell
that's
you to
because
fuck
your
off.
numbers, your lines were off of mine, so that's why I kind of thought we were kind of using.
No,
our
my
own.
numbers were off of the app. I was going off of this, like minus. I was going off of the projected score.
Okay. Yeah, yours were still a little off than mine.
No.
So I don't know where you grabbed yours, but
Yeah,
I got
you
you. Yeah, I got you now. Yeah. So
Yeah,
I'm-
you're
still
calling like
checking.
9-1, like 811 Caesars. Hey, I think it should be -210 instead of -300. Like, all right, we'll look into it, man. Anyways,
And then I
Yeah,
mean,
go ahead.
we're going with La Familia -21. I mean, how does Branch Rance overcome that? It's almost impossible. Like to even begin to think who would drop plus 10 points on that team is very difficult. La Familia again, please bench Lamar Jackson. I think I still have you -21
Wow.
there. Me,
off
Ty.
Lamar like that. Wow.
I think it's going to be a tight one. I think it's going to be a tight one
Yeah,
with me
coin flip.
winning.
Coin
Me
flip.
winning. I think the youth is going to really show here, and I think the old age is going to show for Ty. I think game plans are going to change. I mean, there's so much upside on my side. I just don't see any, I think it's dark days at the, in the Thai facility.
Okay. Like I said, it's coin flip, so that's how you feel. What about the other ones?
I think that's everybody.
Okay.
I rolled through everybody there.
All right. Well, I got some free takes. So, a little segment where I get to speak my mind, not restricted. You just get full access to King Poppy J. A lot of people have always asked me, they always want full access, and I'm a little more reserved. But this is me opening up, just speaking my mind. I think that first thing is, I had a tough year last year. I've seen the highs and lows of this league, like not that low, like. Seraphim can definitely tell you a little bit more about the lows, like. But I had a low, like the highs and lows of the league. I haven't had that low like where you've been, but I've been low.
Okay.
And each win matters a lot. Each week matters a lot. You never know what's going to come down to, oh, now I'm a game behind last game of the year. Like, you look back like, damn, I should have just won this game. I should have just won this game. Like, don't let people try to bring down your hype because, oh, you won week 1. Bro, I didn't win week 1 until I think it was like week 6, bro. And things creep up on people. Weeks creep up. You just start playing. You're working. It's Sunday. You look up and you're fucking 2-4. Like, we're going, man. This is year 9. You know, like, we're here, bro. We're in the middle of the kingdom. No one's feeling sorry for you if you lose. No one's saying like, oh, well, this should have happened or this, or I could have started this, or I think I would have done this. No one cares. No one cares. You know, oh, I wish I would have played him instead of him. No one cares. You lost. You know what I'm saying? Like, get back in the lab, lock in, and you better lock in for week 2. Now, don't come in with that bullshit like, it's early, blah, 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 early this, early that. No. Like, that's just dumb. You know what I'm saying? Roschon Johnson, I mentioned in the first podcast. I think that's going to be one of my like bigger statements. You know, early season predictions. I think I was kind of spot on with that one. I've gotten some comments on that where a lot of people were agreeing with that take, and it's kind of like showing. And I already marked him down for my rookie keeper going into next year. I think that he's going to be the Bears running back for a long time. To be honest, he looks like a dog. Week 2, really excited for. I'm excited for Seraphin, you and Trey, just because it's win-win. Whoever loses is going to be great. You know what I'm saying? Like, someone's going 0-2.
Yeah, I mean, you too, man. I mean, it's a win-win with you and Jerry.
Right. And, but yeah, someone's going 0-2 with you guys. But then we got Drew and Ruben. That's the heavy hitter. That's the America's game of the week. That's, okay. Matchup of the playoffs. Let's see it, man. I'm excited because Ruben... Yeah. What kind of season is everyone's looking at Ruben like he's kind of like got the Jets. Ruben's got Jets style hype, like more though.
Oh yeah, way more.
But it's like, and look how it happened with Rodgers. The air came out of the room like the air's not gonna come out of the room with Ruben. Like, he's got too many good players, but he has to start off hot. That's our version of like not letting the air out the room. Like, so this is a big week, I think, for Ruben and Drew, and yeah, that's all I had.
Yeah, I think just the. A game of the week. I don't think it's Ruben just because he should win, right? Wow. There's nothing exciting there. He needs to go probably 10-3 or whatever. He needs to probably win 12 games. And I'm not looking at his team at all, right? Because he should dominate every single week, in and out. If he's not dominating, I'm stressing. If I'm Ruben, that's just the team he has, like the team that he's built. And to see lesser teams, right, make the playoffs. It's in your head, and that's really not, the game of the week there.
Okay. So what is?
Man, it's definitely not Alonso. And I think that's the funnest week, right? Because that's going to be the biggest blowout. I think that's the one where, it's a down day, it's cloudy. I'm going to look at that score line because it's going to put a smile on my face. Okay. But I'm not looking at Ruben's team at all. Right, I think Colin and Captain, like, the battle of the worst teams. The battle of the guys who just aren't going to make the playoffs. I don't know if that's really exciting to you. I think your game and my game is up there for game of the week because we're I'm a contender. Jerry's a contender. Okay. But the lines are so close a little bit that... Okay. We really need to separate ourselves from the rest of the group. So I think those are the games to watch.
It's true.
But just my free take, like, you're just so unbelievably full of yourself. To take 5 or 10 minutes of the show to just continue, like, you've already talked about yourself for like 25 minutes. And then to add on to the end. So it's funny. I'm for it because your downfall is going to be one of the biggest downfalls, right? I think that happens with anybody who's optimistic. I mean, my downfall last year was brutal.
Bad.
That my team was actually really good. I just think, like, if the situation would, I'm not going to get into it, but my downfall was pretty brutal last year. It wasn't cool. I wasn't very happy about it, but I think we're going to see something like that with you. And I just wanted to point that out. try and challenge you to, maybe think about somebody else. Maybe try to look at the negatives of your team because like they're mounting up. Like there were a few, but then now Aaron Rodgers is gone. And another one there. Like, you don't talk enough about how bad your team is. And I think, at least with me, I'm addressing the issues. I'm addressing the issues.
What'd you say? I'd love to hear what you said about your team.
About my team?
Yeah, this episode, what'd you say?
Well, I mean...
What issues have you addressed about your team?
Well, number one, Josh Allen having 4 turnovers is something we have to address.
Did you?
I mentioned it earlier. It's
What'd you say?
One was a butt fumble. One really wasn't his fault. And the two other ones
that's
were
not
like
really addressing
throws.
those excuses.
I think I'm addressing the reality. I'm not running away from it.
The reality is, bro.
I'm not running away from it.
I think the reality is, bro, is that I think that you got shell shocked week 1 when you walked out.
I loved every single moment.
Let me talk. I know if I would have logged onto that app at 4:30 and seen 20 points by my team, I would have been shell shocked. I would have been like, "Whoa! Like, this is not usually how Sundays should go."
Yeah, right.
I know you had a lot of players. You had 3 players left.
Yeah, which was a lot. They were like one of my better players.
Yeah, 3 of the better players left, and you ended up scoring. How much was it?
An additional 40.
Right.
Which is 3 players. Yeah.
Right. So I know that I think you were shell shocked because I think that last year, you had that fall off. Right. I think that hit you hard because, like I said, when you were going to go ghost, you did kind of go ghost a little bit.
Once the season ended, yeah. I mean, we had to recruit.
Right. You went ghost a little bit.
We went to the lab.
And I think that you came out, you had that fire, like, man, I'm going to go out here, like, man, fuck last year. I'm going to do this.
Fire's still here.
I'm going to come out week 1 and drop, like you're already talking about, you're talking about me, full of myself. Seraphim, you just dropped 60 points. You had 20 points by 4 o'clock. And you're talking about you're going to drop 120, did you say, this week?
Yeah, 135.
135. Like, I don't think I'm the one that's full of myself here. Like, I think you really need to look. Like, bro, you have T. Higgins and Drake London, the future receivers of your team.
Yeah, Drake London's on the bench.
They drop goose eggs.
Drake London's on the bench. If Drake London were to start, he'd be coming in the flex because Jahan would go into the 2 slot if it had to be done.
Hold on. If you were not full of yourself, you would look at Lat this week. I was being nice. I'm not even being nice, but I really didn't bring it up. Dude, yeah, you have the power. You're the worst team in the league.
No, okay.
You have the worst team in the league, bro.
I don't think so.
You do. You scored the least amount of points week 1, right?
I think you're
Did you score the least amount week 1 or no?
Right.
Okay, you did. So
yeah.
I would say if you weren't full of yourself, you're no biasness. You're the worst team in the league. You know what I mean? Looking at it, damn, he really went out there and dropped 60 points.
Right.
Like, damn.
Right.
Damn. Like, God, he scored how much?
77 and lost, yeah.
Yeah. Like
we started with
17 more points. Yeah, then I'm
17 more points, which isn't
in
the grand scheme of things.
I've seen games come down to 1 point. So I think we're talking about biasness and all that. I think it's funny because you're the one who's got the target on your head. You go, hey, I'm giving my honest opinion, but you had some hot takes, and for your team to lay that
uncharacteristically of each player. Josh Allen with 9 points is very uncharacteristic of him. T. Higgins with 0 is very uncharacteristic of him. These are outliers, and it's amazing that you're using these outliers. I think if T. Higgins dropped multiple zeros, multiple weeks, I think I have a bad team. If Josh Allen for the next 5 weeks only puts up 9 points, I think it changes things. Yeah.
Josh Allen has 39 turnovers in his last 19 games. He has the most turnovers since entering the NFL in 2018.
Okay.
It's time we start having that conversation about Josh.
Yeah.
It's
amazing to me, right? Because
you're the
year after year, he has drafted second quarterback after Patrick Mahomes, right? Even with those interceptions, I think it's amazing, right? Because with those interceptions, you have to produce not only throwing yards, but touchdowns and rushing yards. So if we look at those games, minus the interceptions, he's way miles ahead of Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, his interceptions are an issue, but it's amazing that even with the interceptions, he's able to stay an elite top 2 quarterback, not top 3, because it's the top 2 quarterback. He's number 2. Without those interceptions, he's obviously number 1.
He can't
I just
stop
think
throwing
you're
interceptions.
basing uncharacteristic things on my team.
I just gave over
and
some
you're
stats last
also
19
using
games.
uncharacteristic things that have happened for your
Last
team
19 games.
to estimate like what the rest of your season is going to look like.
I don't have a ceiling. Like I'm kind of like, I got a lot of like potential. Like
I know. I think you hit your potential. You
using
hit the top.
the potential word for your team.
It doesn't
I don't
get
think
better
anyone
for
would.
you. It
I don't think anyone would say use potential with your team just because it's a lot of has-beens. It's a lot of he has been the potential guy. He has been the potential guy, and it just never came to fruition for anything. So it's like we're tired of talking about Diggs. We're tired of talking about Josh Allen. You know, Madison. You know, like whatever, bro. He came out there. He looks like a fucking backup running back. He looked like whatever. Fucking Drake London lays a goose egg on the bench because you know damn well if he drops 20, you're coming in here saying, and I feel like if I just start London, I win this game. You know what I'm saying? But goose egg on the bench for London, goose egg for T. Higgins. It's time for you to look in the mirror and be like, if you go out there and drop under 70 points again this week, it's time to blow that thing up.
I think,
and I don't know who's buying.
Our teams are drastically different. You've hit the top and your sky's the limit. We've hit the bottom and the sky's the limit. Like, I think we're both complete opposites, right? Your team produced, and they overproduced. They shouldn't have even put up 80 points.
It's not last year, man. This is not last year,
I think it's very similar
That's
last
the
year.
fucking motto. This is not last year.
It's very similar this year. I think with that,
we're
just gonna see. We're just gonna see how the rest of the week pans out. I think we're just about out of time. Was there any last minute things that you want to say?
What a fucking week. What a fucking catch by Garrett Wilson. Yeah. Monday Night fucking Football. I remember back in the days, man, I used to like dominate on primetime for fantasy football. I got away from that a little bit. Yesterday, GW goes out there and what a fucking grab. Dagger. Ball game. You know what I'm saying? Like, I need dogs like that on my team, man. And like I'm really excited about my team this year. Like I'm really excited. Like Kamara, I'll be forgetting like I got Kamara like 2 weeks away. Take these 2 weeks off, Kamara, get right. Saints look like they got a quarterback that moved downfield. Judy, he's already back. Like, turned out to be like a great draft pick by me. Like, we got some starters that can come off the bench. Gainwell was my last position player I drafted. He got the most touches in Philly. He might be a solid running back. So, you know, like, it's not last year, man. Yeah, I think that, you know, the teams are gonna. I think it's gonna be an early separator this year. I don't think it's gonna be like dogfights. I think the teams are gonna separate early. I think.
Okay.
I think you're gonna separate early. I think
you're
you're looking on the barrel 0-4. I think that's my opinion.
And even if I were to start 0-4, I'd welcome it. And
I would love for you to be 0-4 because then you're just 1 week from 0-5, and it's like damn. And it's like then you're another week from 0-6, like damn. Like and then you can't stop it. It's like, hey,
let's get the losses out the way.
Yeah, we'll see, man. We'll see. Yeah, I mean, excited about the season, man.
Football's back.
Football's back.
I'm happy.
The East is. I feel like a lot of people are interested in our conference, like our dynamic. Like we're not as cookie cutter as the West. Like
they only have 2 wins.
Yeah, but then they also like the West is just kind of like they look at like I don't. But the West looks at the Justins as like Tweedledee, Tweedledum. Like they don't really like they just kind of like. Pair them off. It's like a Ruben, Drew, and Colin conference. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a disappointment to lose to those two, where in our conference, like, you know, it's really like, all right, you're the one who, if we lose against Seraphin, it's like, all right, fuck, like, you fucked up. But other than that, it's like, everyone's
I don't think so.
kind of been around, everyone's kind of has, like, their, like, players here and there. But, you know, like, you were, like, the fake Alonzo at one point. Like, you had, like, the talent, like you're saying, but you just never, like, damn, like, it was like a 1 year thing, so it's like you don't have that respect in the East, man. I'm just letting you know, like I don't think you do. I think that when Trey plays me, he gets up for it. When Alonzo plays me, he gets up for it. Me and Jerry, he'll get up for it, and I get up for all of them. When I play you, like it's more of a like I just wanted to come out there and just be like Kobe versus Italy or Spain, you know, FIBA. Just like I just wanted to like calm down a little bit. Reminder, like you're chirping up the tree, like you gotta get past Trey and Alonzo. Like I played Jerry in the championship. Like you haven't had those big games yet. Like you can't just automatically get in a big game with me. Like man, that was like what I went by what 25. Like it wasn't even a game. Like
I mean, it was close.
I went by like 20 something. Like it wasn't even. I'll see. We play again. We play 2 times a year.
Right.
All right, so it might be another ass whooping again, and
I don't. Okay, I guess we'll see.
we'll see, man.
We'll
That's what I'm
see.
saying. You can't stop it.
We'll see.
The season's going,
Yeah.
and you gotta find a way to stop the bleeding. You're already got a little prick in your shoulder, like what's that? If you go 0-2,
No. I don't think it's.
don't go 0-3. And if you go
I'll
0-3,
go on 3. I'll go on 4.
Don't go on 4.
I'll go on 5.
Don't do it,
I'll go on
man.
6. And then we'll
You
turn
don't got
around.
the savviness. I don't think you got the savviness and the fantasy football IQ to really get yourself out of a hole. I think that you'll like panic and you'll try to pull off a Debo trade. What I pull off, I think you'll go back to that and like kind of look at the bones to that, the
think
blueprint
so.
of that trade, and I think you will try to imitate that when things go bad this year. But I don't think that
not a
like you
shot.
have the charisma to get the
Yeah.
deal done, and you got the target on your head, and I don't know who on your team. It'd probably be Diggs. I think Diggs is gonna be the guy that like helps you.
Uh-huh.
I think you got to trade him. I think that's my really. You have to trade Diggs this year because it's over,
Yeah.
man. I think Diggs.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
looked good.
Yeah.
Get him off your team. Get someone
Yeah.
like we can talk. I want to talk Diggs actually, like
Yeah.
at some point.
I think that's a wonderful take. I think for entertainment purposes, for clicks, I think you hit on all cylinders, man. I can't wait for week 2, week 3, week 4. Can't wait to reference this episode
I
in
know.
future episodes.
Can't
I can't wait for it. We can sit here and talk about it all day.
Yeah.
But just like we were done with you the second that game was over, we're on to week 2. We're
Yeah.
not looking in the past.
Yep.
We're not charading.
I know.
If we would have won, I'd have been like, it's week 2 time. Jesse's behind us.
Right.
It's on to the next one. Win or lose.
Yeah.
And then I got Ty. Once that's done, it's on to the next one. We don't live in the past. We don't dream too
I'm
much.
so happy that you or Ty has to go on too. Like I'm so excited that like at least
Right, yeah.
you have to. Like what do you have? So I'm still gonna have that going in the next. I can go 1-1. That's what I mean by you get a win, you get some breathing room of like chill, like.
And I've been there, right? Yeah.
Yeah, but you've really
Yeah.
been like where you're at right now a lot, where it's like there's no win in sight, bro. It's
We have a lot of wins in sight.
I don't think there's a win in sight, man. Like I don't know, man. I hope you have a bad year and apologize to everyone for
No, there would
these hot takes, and I think
no
that
apologies here.
I think that you have
I
a
think
fire sale.
we-
And I think that you might be able to pull it off, like the rebuild, like. But I do think that you try to have a fire sale, and I just don't think it's gonna work. I don't think you're gonna pull. As I'm saying, the savviness, the football IQ, not there. But that's all I got, man.
All right, man. We're gonna wrap that up there because you literally like took half the episode talking about yourself and then your dreams and your wet
That's how you have a
dreams.
good team, man.
So, hey, like, subscribe.
Yeah,
And I can't wait
can't win,
for
man.
week.
Get
week 2.
Higgins and London off of your teams immediately. I don't know when they'll score. I don't know if they score a point first or Seraphin wins first. That's not the last thing I want to say.